Hey folks, let's talk about transforming our parent graphs. We've done this before with the conic sections. And in previous math classes, we've done this with other parent functions, things like the squaring or the cubing function, the absolute value function. We've done a lot of transforming in those. So this is very, very similar to that. First thing I'd like for you to notice is the standard equation. Right now, I have the sine in there, but this can actually say the sine or the cosine. The standard equation is exactly the same. So that's the first thing about this. The basic sine and cosine shapes. From now on, you will not have to plot all of those values that we plotted in the last two videos. So all you'll have to do is just think about 5 major values. The 5 major values, you want to deal with the beginning, the middle, and the end. So let's stop right there. For the sine graph, the beginning, middle, and end, these are all exactly the same. These are all going to be on the x-axis. And then lastly, we'll talk about not just the beginning, middle, and end, but we'll talk about the 2 quarter points. So the midway between the beginning and the middle, and the midway between the middle and the ending. For the sine graph, that's going to occur, the first quarter point is going to occur at a maximum, and the other quarter point occurs at a minimum. So this is going to be the basic sine shape. If this is the sine parent, we know that the ending occurs at 2 pi, the middle occurs at pi. If you take half of pi, you'll get pi over 2. And then all you really have to do is count. You have 0, 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2 is next, and then 4 pi over 2 is the last one. Now for cosine, the beginning, middle, and end, these guys are actually going to be my maximum and my minimum values. So the beginning and the ending are maximums, the middle is the minimum. And the 2 quarter points are going to be on the x-axis. Once again, if this is the cosine parent, the ending is going to be at 2 pi. Take half of that, you have pi. Take half of that, you have pi over 2, and then you can just count 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. Now let's go straight into the amplitude. So these are going to be the things that you can do to transform your parents. The amplitude is simply going to be how high and how low your graph goes. The formula for this is going to be the absolute value of A. And when I refer to a letter like A, I'm referring back to that standard equation that I gave you just a few seconds ago. Go on down to your notes. We'll do examples in class, but go down to your notes and let's talk about the period. The period of the graph is how far the graph goes before it starts repeating itself. The formula for finding the period is going to be 2 pi divided by b. 1 period is the same thing as saying 1 full cycle of the graph. Go on down, the phase shift. This is going to be the horizontal translation, moving right and left. And just like this has been in other courses, when we move right and left, it's backwards from what you expect. So if you see a minus, it's going to move to the right, and if you see a plus, it's going to move to the left. The formula for this is just simply going to be the value of d, again referring back to that standard equation. And then lastly, we'll talk about vertical translations. The vertical translation is the up and the down translation. And again, as in previous courses, if it says plus, you're going up. If it says minus, you're going down. And my formula for that is just simply C in my standard equation. So here's a table of all 4 of the formulas all in one spot.